Hey guys, Will from Bristol Autos here. Today we're back in my Forester XT for a long-awaited follow-up video to the MRT XA kit tune with Ecutek software that we did about 6.5, 7 months ago now. I think it was back in February. So in that original video, if you jump back in and watch it above my head now, you'll see that we talked a little bit about the drivability and fuel economy. One of the things I promised is that I would do a follow-up video a little bit further down the track to let you know how all that kind of stuff is tracking. Now, my original plan was to clock up the exact same number of kilometers as we had in the previous video and show you a direct comparison of the fuel economy. Unfortunately, this car's got to go in for the recall on the frag grenade Takata airbag tomorrow. So, and I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is they're going to disconnect the battery as part of that process, which will reset the trip meter. But the good news is we've got almost the same number of kilometers there anyway. So look, I'll jump in quickly now and show you exactly the situation with economy. So we'll switch on the ignition here. And we can see we got 7,263.6 kilometers on the trip meter. And if we move across to the economy, 11.4 liters per 100 kilometers. So if we jump back in time and have a look at the previous video, you'll see it had a few more kilometers on the clock, but we had an economy of 11.6 liters per 100 kilometers. So not a massive difference, but it is better now than it is before. But the significant thing to keep in mind here is that we've got a lot more power and torque than we had before. And look, to be honest with you, I'm absolutely thrilled with that result, because what I noticed straight away after the upgrade is that because the car has a lot more power and torque, you use that power and torque. So it's very hard to not drive this car with a leaded foot now, because you just want to use that power. It's become a lot more enjoyable to drive. For me, at least previously, driving this car was, you know, because it didn't have a whole lot of power. I mean, it is a Forester XT, so there's a decent amount of power there, but you know, it's nothing to write home about, especially when you compare it to my BMW or my previous WRX and BRZ with the supercharger on it. You know, it wasn't a car that I was ever excited to drive before. So I always drove it really economically, because there was no point in trying to drive it as a performance car. What I'm finding now is that because it has that added power and torque, there's a lot more drama to driving the car now. It's a lot more enjoyable. And because of that, I tend to drive it with a bit of a lead foot. I take away heavily from the lights, that kind of stuff. And my wife has said exactly the same thing. She really enjoys having that extra power and she's making use of it. So to have better fuel economy than we had pre-tune, even though we're driving the car much more heavily with a lot more power, to me, that really goes to show the benefit of this MRT XA kit. You know, to have better fuel economy and all that extra power, you know, why wouldn't you? So I'm really impressed with it. In terms of drivability, like I said, it's just so much more fun to drive now than it was before. You know, it's theatrical and dramatic to drive now if you want it to be. The only thing that I would definitely suggest is starting to look at some suspension upgrades to match the engine performance to the capability of the car. You know, it is quick enough now that, you know, you chuck it into a corner and put your foot down, there's a lot of body roll. And we talked about this in the original video, but I really do feel like it's now at the point where to really maximize that benefit, you'd need to do some other suspension work. I'm not going to do that because this is a family car and a daily driver, and I don't really want to spend the money on something that I'm never going to take to the track and really use to its full potential. But yeah, if this was your only car and you were looking to really hop things up and get the most out of it, you definitely would want to look at some suspension modifications to match the extra power. So in terms of reliability, absolutely no issues with the car at all. As you saw, we've done 7,200 Ks. It's actually due for another service now, so I need to get that happening. I've been a little bit lazy there, but no issues with reliability at all. Haven't had a single problem with the car, other than that airbag, which I'm absolutely terrified of sitting in front of, but that's going to get fixed tomorrow. So look, hopefully you found the video interesting and useful. It's just a quick follow-up video. If you haven't seen the previous video, make sure you check it out, linked above my head for you right now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful, and I will see you next time. Bye.